10 seconds, start recording. Okay, perfect. So we're looking at transformations of the sine function. What is going on with my screen right now? Fine. So looking at transformation of sine function, why this is choosing, let's close it, then open it. There we go. So transformation is this. Like, what happens when, like, how would I write the formula for something like this? Like where it moves up, right? Something where it's like this. What's that formula for that? When we move it up or down, it's bigger or it's smaller, okay? That's what we're gonna look at right now. Now, because I'm a nice guy, no, I won't show you my nice guy part right now. So, a couple things you need to know about a sine function, okay? This is what they call the parent function. And the parent function just means all the other graphs are designed this. Right, let me send Kovats a link. Somebody just can't find it. Wait for Kovats to show up. Oops. I have to press send on that email. Farley, what are you going to get at Dairy Queen if you go for lunch?
Oh, I'll probably get a chicken burger, but like a spicy chicken burger.
Oh, okay.
Probably a large fry and some sort of blizzard.
Nice.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Smarties, you're good.
Yeah. Well, my managers a couple weeks ago paid me full price, so and Dairy Queen would get half off, so everything. So it's like, okay, I get free food now.
Nice.
Me. Yeah.
All right. So this is the parent formula. Okay, your parent function. So what that means is this here is what y equals sine x is, or more specifically, if you want to do this, f of x. Okay. A couple things you should know is that it takes the parent formula takes 360 degrees. The period is 360. Okay. The max and the min is 1, is equal to 1. But it also changes direction every 90 degrees. You can see here at 90, it starts to go down. And it crosses at 90 more degrees. It gets to the bottom at 90, and it ends 90. So every 90 degrees, you kind of put a point. So if I were doing this parent formula here, every 90 degrees, I know this is a significant point. It goes up at 90. At 90 more degrees, it's in the middle. At 90 more degrees, it's at the bottom. That's at 270. At 90 more degrees, it's at 360. Does everyone understand that? Because this will kind of help you understand what's going on here. Okay? Do we have a yes about understanding, like, every 90 degrees, there's a significant point? Now, with that being said, we at this level, at 3M Math, are not going to change those 90 degrees. So we're not going to be dealing with something. There's a letter in here, a B value, which I'll explain here, that squishes it or stretches it out. We're not going to play with that. Okay? So, but we're going to play with the rest of it. So here's our formula here, and I'm going to use Desmos. Oh, 1 second here. I got to change some setting in Desmos. Change the degree instead of rads. Let's go from negative 400 to 400. Then we'll do steps every 90. Then we'll do this to negative 10 and 10, and we'll do steps of 1. Right. There we go. So here's the original formula, sine x. Does that make sense to everybody? If we just look here, it goes up to 90, back middle, down, and then back middle. Okay. Am I too far zoomed out for people, or do you guys see the numbers? Let's go. You can see? Can anyone not see? Because I can reduce these numbers a little bit if we can't see. So here's my first question. If we're working with the formula a sine bracket x minus c plus b, okay? If we're working with that formula, if I change a, what's going to happen? So let's change a to like 4 sine x. What changes? Does the amplitude change? Does the period change? What changes there? Can anyone tell me? Right? So the amplitude changes. So you can take a look here. That's how far it goes up and down, right? So from the axis of symmetry, which is in the middle here, it goes up 4 and down 4. Because really before, we don't write it there, but there's a 1 there. Okay? So what if I put a 5 in here? Let's put like a bigger number. That's how far it's going to go up, and that's how far it's going to go down from the parent, from the axis of symmetry, from the middle. Okay? So it goes up 8 down, it goes down. The 90s are still the same. You see how it changes, like it changes direction at the 90, right? Yeah, it changes the max and min, 100%, right? You're going to go up 8 in this case, and then down 8 in this case, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? If you remember back to quadratics where we had the stretch and the compression, this is pretty much the same thing. If I have a big number, it's going to stretch it, stretching it out, compared to if I put it like a small number in, if it goes 0.5 sine x, it's going to be much smaller. Okay, see how it's only goes up 0.5 there? And it goes down, and then goes down 0.5, right? So if we take a look at our note, so the meaning of A, that would be changes the amplitude. Changes the amplitude of the sine curve. Does that make sense to everyone? Put a Y in chat if it makes sense to you that that A value changes the amplitude. Or put a question mark if I haven't explained it clearly enough to you and you want some more explanation. Okay. So our A value changes the amplitude. So it's going to go up from the axis of symmetry. Wherever we start, it's going to go up and down. Who can make a guess of what's going to happen if I put a negative sign in front of one of these? What would happen if I put a negative sign in front of this 4? Anyone take a wild guess for me? What would happen if I put a negative sign? It would flip upside down. Very good. So right now, I think about it as it starts by going up. Like if I were to start here, it starts by going up to 90 first, okay? Then go from there. But if I put a negative sign in here, it does flip. And it starts to go down first. So if it's positive, the purple one's a positive, it's going to go up at the very start, then down, away you go. And this one goes down first, okay? If we were thinking about it as like a roller coaster, if we got on the roller coaster here, if it's positive, we have to go uphill first before we hit the big downhill. If it's a negative, once we get on that roller coaster, it starts with a downhill, and we go from there. Okay? Now, not to ruin the ending, I'm not going to ruin the ending. And it's A, negative A, starts down, positive A, starts up. Does that make sense to everybody off the bat? Or put a question mark in. Put a question mark if you don't understand what I'm saying. And there's a spot, Notes of Future Self, where we can put all this stuff. All right. So we'll go on to the next one. I'm actually going to skip C for right now. I'm going to skip C. I'm going to go right to D. Okay. Let's go. I'm going to leave the parent function in. Does anyone have a guess what's going to happen when I add a number to the end of it? Thinking back to what quadratics, if you can remember back to quadratics, what the last number did. Vertical shift, good. So this mirrors. If don't worry about, you can press enter after if she got the question in before you. You don't have to go back and erase everything. So these transformations mirror pretty much a quadratic transformation. So if I were to put a +4 on there, the starting point is going to move up 4, and we're here, okay? And now our new line of symmetry, axis of symmetry, is 4. Just as this one was 0 before, now from 4, what number's in front of that sign is a 1. So it's going to go up 1, back middle, down 1, back middle. Does that make sense to you guys right there? And what would happen if I wrote a negative number in there? What if I did sine -7? What's going to happen to the starting point then? Is it going to go up 7 or down 7? Oh, I'm not putting the minus in front of it, Dom. Right? It's attached to the 7 at the end. Oops, I forgot the X. Okay. So it's going to go down. The starting point is going to go down to -7, and that's going to be our. That's going to be our axis of symmetry now. It's funny that number right there is our axis of symmetry. Well, not sorry, that number, whatever that C value D value is going to be our axis of symmetry. Okay? And we're going up, middle, down from there. Any questions from that right now? Put a question mark if you want to review what the number at the end does. Okay. So let me go back to our main note here. So the meaning of D is vertical shift of the positive D moves up, negative D moves down. Now C, here's the hard one. Okay, I consider it somewhat, I don't know if it's hard, but it's not directly easy. Who can make a guess what that C is going to do? We've done stretch and compression so far, so we're either stretching it up or we're pushing it down. We have a vertical shift going up and down. What's the C value? What's that C value going to do? Who can guess what that C value is going to be up to? Oh, come on, take a crazy guess, Farley.
Does it extend the bottom of the graph?
Not quite, but I think we have a vertical, we have a shift that goes up and down.
Mm-hmm.
What other shift could we have? Horizontal.
Oh yeah, horizontal, I guess then.
Right. Now, the weird thing with this horizontal shift is once again it lands in the land. It's in the land of the opposites again. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here. Oops. I want to zoom in here. Oh, okay. So if you take a look, it's a minus 90 in the bracket. So what that actually means, it's a negative over there. It's actually a plus. So we're taking this dot right here where it starts, and we're moving it to the right 90, and this is where it starts now. And it goes up, middle, down, and then back there. It still takes 360 degrees to go over it. Okay? Still takes 360 degrees, but it's just shifting it. Instead of starting here, it's a minus 90, so it's going to move 90 to the right. Since it's positive, so it's a negative in there, so it's a positive when it comes out, 90 to the right. Okay? Now, if I put a positive in here, that means it's going to go 90 to the left. I'm going to get rid of this guy. Why does this always come up the same color? Let me delete that. Blue. Okay. Is Abigail in the meeting right now? She's not. Oh my gosh. I almost cried. One second. I have to look at something real quick. This might be the funniest thing ever. Apparently Abigail's having spider issues. Where's the picture of the spider, Abigail? Oh. Apparently Abigail's got a spider in her room. I got a message saying, I put a video in the folder. There's a spider. I went to go get my sister to kill it. But when we came back, it was gone. And now we're at spider hunting. Am I wrong to find this amusing? Do you guys find the spider hunt amusing or not? Oh, No one else? There's a grade 12 student who I coached who was absolutely afraid of spiders, where I think she had a spider in her room one time. So she moved out of her room for a week until she confirmed the spider was gone. Like she slept on the couch for a week. Okay, anyways. Sorry if I take away from our learning.
I think it was something Riley Broderick could do, to be honest.
Oh, Riley doesn't like spiders, does he?
Yeah, Riley's really, really scared of spiders. I remember I was at his house one time, and he actually, like, we had to, like, evacuate the house because there was a spider in his room.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that never happened, but...
Okay.
Dude called, like, the fire department, the police, everything, dude. Paramedics,
I don't like reptiles. I'm not a reptile guy. So,
like, you know how
if you give me
Wahlberg, the Thunder Buddy song? Whenever I see a spider, I have a song like that.
Okay. All right, let's get back here. So, shifts it right or left. That's what the 90 does. Okay, the plus or minus. Now, I could even go like sine bracket x minus 180. If I go minus 180, am I going to shift to the right or shift to the left? If I go 100, if I go minus in there. Shift to the right, correct. And how far? 180. So you take a look. I've taken this spot where it starts and I moved it all the way to 180, and now it starts going on its normal rhythm as such. Okay? So the one thing we didn't do here, you can see in the formula I gave you, I'll do horizontal shift. Negative shifts right. Positive shifts left. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody? Now, we didn't deal with B. You can see in the formula, there's an A, a C, and a D. There's actually a B that goes in there, but we're not going to deal with that. Because if I did that, let's use my parent formula here. If I did that, it changes the period of it. Actually divides it by whatever this number is. Okay? So, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay? So just in case you're like, hey, why is there A, C, and D? Where's the B? Well, the B is actually right there. But we're not going to deal with it in this class. Okay? But all it does is takes 360, the period, and divides it by whatever number you put in there. 360 divided by 4 is 90, so the whole thing fits within your period's now 90. So now, for you guys who have your notes of future self, your teacher was thoroughly way too nice to you this week. And I wrote in all the transformations right here. Okay? And I color coded it. So if you look here, sine function, I have the plus and the minus, right? So positive determines the starting direction of the function. Positive starts up. And look here, I even color coded this. The blue one's up. We go up. Negative starts down. Okay? Yeah, we can. Now this one here, we're gonna do some questions with it in a second. The A value determines the stretch and compression of the amplitude, so it changes the amplitude. So if it's bigger than 0, it's a stretch, and if it's less than 0, it's a compression. But if you look here, the green one, and I can zoom in, I have f of x equals 5 sine x. That means my amplitude is going to be 5 as it goes. And then last one here, not last one, C is my horizontal shift. So subtraction in the bracket shifts right, addition shifts left. And see here, I put a negative 90. That means I shifted the starting point over right 90 degrees. And away I went. And lastly is the vertical. If it's positive, it shifts up. If it's less than 0, it shifts down. You can see I did a +2 and just moved everything up. How are we with kind of recognizing what A, C, and D do to our values out of 10? Okay. I mean, out of 5. Sorry, out of 5. I'm going to copy this and bring it down with me. Then let's see. I want to keep that in frame, but all right. So I'm going to write down some equations, and then we're going to discuss what it does. Axis of the curve is the middle part of the curve. So it is, we covered it yesterday, but it means if the curve goes like such, whatever the middle part of the curve is. Okay? So for example, when we shifted that one up, like that, let's say that was 4, right? 4 is the middle part of the curve, so that's the axis of the curve. Does that help you, Olivia? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to write down the equation, okay? I want you to tell me the amplitude, the horizontal shift, the vertical shift, and the starting direction. As I horribly misspell all those things, so I'm going to erase it and actually make a chart. Okay. Insert table, 2 by whatever. You guys can work on this as I make my table here. So I want amplitude, starting direction, horizontal shift, and vertical shift. Okay. Make those big. Okay. Abigail, have you recovered? I might have played the. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but we can't find it, so now I'm just hiding in a different room.
we might have played your video and focused on the spider. I didn't do the listening part. I just skipped to the spider part.
It was huge, and then I went to go get my sister, and by the time we came back down, it was gone.
I told the other students how there's a player that I coached that had a spider in her room one time, so she slept on the couch for a week. So
I did the same thing.
all right, so here we go. So we're looking at how the sine function transforms here. So who can tell me what they know about this formula I just gave you? Who can tell me the amplitude, the starting direction, the horizontal shift, or the vertical shift? Can you type it in chat for me? So amplitude is 2. Very good. I'm going to do some color coding here. Actually, I should make it match this, eh? So amplitude 2. That's not red. Let's get a thicker pen too. Good. Right? Anyone else have some parts here? It's upward start. Oh, geez, I messed up my first color code. That should be green. Amplitude is 2. We have a positive, so we're starting by going up. Come on, don't let Haley do everything. Or Haley, I guess, gets to do everything today. No horizontal shift. We don't have a C value in the bracket, so there's nothing there. Then lastly, the vertical shift is... Haley, finish her off. Haley, vertical shift is +3. How did we do with... If we just take a look at that one, how do people understand where all that information came from? Are we thumbs up? U for up, M for middle, or like question mark for I have no clue what's going on? Middle, up. Okay, good. So let's do another one. We'll do a bunch of these just to get practice. And this is your homework for this morning. Part is just this. And Abigail, I won't lie, I cried a little bit watching your video and reading your email. I found it tough. Maybe it's because I'm a country boy and we just always had spiders around per se. In our basement, we always had we had an old dugout basement. Like you didn't go in there. Like it was just a cement floor where we kept stuff. But we had frogs every spring. There'd be tons of frogs in the basement. So having like a little spider wouldn't.
If we're good, like we understand it, can we leave and do the homework?
I'm gonna go over how to get this from a. We have to look at a graph also and kind of do it as well.
Okay.
Okay. So this won't take long. We'll be 10 more minutes, if that. Okay. Since you're good, Dominic, how about you tell me my answers here? We'll let everyone give 30 seconds for everyone to kind of go through this.
Okay, I can do it.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Press D in chat if you're all done doing the amplitude, starting direction, horizontal shift, and vertical shift of these. Okay. All right, so first things first, who wants to give me my amplitude? What's my amplitude of this here?
-4.
Not just 4. What's the negative in there tell you? The
That
negative is something else,
is
right?
starting downward.
Down, right. Okay, so the negative is attached to the downward part. Okay, and the 4 is just the amplitude. This number is just the 4. Okay, do we have a horizontal shift? What do we think our horizontal shift is if we have one? There is a horizontal shift. We do have something in the brackets, right? We do have something inside the brackets here. So if we look inside the brackets to the purple part, right? Horizontal shift. It's a subtraction, we shift right. So this here would be we go right 45. And we don't have a vertical shift here, so we have no vertical shift. There's nothing here. Okay. Let's do another one up here. Sine x plus 90 minus 4. Okay. Put D in chat when you're all done this question here. Does anyone want more time? Put T in chat if you want a little bit more time. All right, so let's go through here. Who wants to give me my amplitude? What's my amplitude for this one? Well, what number is in front of there that we just don't write all the time? Well, 1. So our amplitude for this one is 1, right? Because there's a 1 in front of there, we just don't write it. Okay? What's my starting direction? Up or down? Up. Perfect. What's my horizontal shift if I have one? $90 left. Very good. So 90 left. And my vertical shift on this one? Am I going up or down? Oh, vertical. Vertical shift on. Down 4, right? Down 4. Perfect. How's everyone feeling with this? Out of 5. I want to hear from the people who I haven't heard from yet. I want to hear from the people who I've heard from, but also some other people. Like T, Kovats, Mia, San Vito. She's not in the car going to Tim Hortons right now. All right, let's do one more of these. Then we'll do with a graph. All right, y equals -3 sine x plus 180 plus 10. Okay. Work away on that one and then press D in chat when you're all done. What else am I missing from? Ben's not here. Oh, Ben's here. Right. Up here real quick. All right, so who wants to give me some items here for me? Who wants to give me my amplitude? Amplitude's always positive, always positive. Amplitude's 3. Good. The negative tells me it starts down, right? We're starting down from there. Do I have a horizontal shift? And which direction if it's there? $180 to the left. Good. Is that purple? 180 left. And a vertical shift? Up or down? And how many units if there's one there? Oh, Dom already put it up 10. We're going up 10. Perfect. Okay. So we'll do one more, do a couple here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to write in a okay. Looking at this, I'm going to export this real quick and then bring it into my other one. Fine. So it is really hard when you get one of these to start. Okay. The thing that we need to find the start is we need to find the axis of symmetry. Okay. Does anyone remember the formula for axis of symmetry yesterday? Max min divided by 2. What sign's going to go right there for axis of symmetry? Farley, give me the amplitude one by accident. Not a minus, but a plus. Okay? Is going to give us our axis of symmetry. So if we take a look here, we take our max. Our max value here is 4. Plus our minimum value here is -10. We divide it by 2. So that gives us -6 divided by 2, -3. That's our axis. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to -3 and just put a line straight across from here. Because that kind of gives us some context of where to look. Okay? Now, can you give me the amplitude of this graph? So amplitude is how far it goes up. And how far it goes down. Right, so we're looking for how far this goes up here, how far it goes down. Perfect. So my amplitude is 7. And you know what I'm going to do down here? I'm actually going to build an equation. F of x equals, now we know that's our a value, shoot. sine x minus c plus d. Okay. 7, because we're going to go up. We're going from, if we look here, we go from -3 up to 4. So if we count all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. Does that make sense, Abigail? We count from the line of symmetry, the axis symmetry, up and down. Oh, that's no problem. Now, can someone tell me the vertical shift? The axis symmetry went up or down, right? It's not in the along 0. What did it shift? What was our vertical shift? Good, -3. If you take a look where axis symmetry is, that is our vertical shift. Now, so if we're building our equation, we would have, I'll do it up here, y equals, or whatever it is, we put 7 in front. We know the very ending is -3. Now for this part here, what I do is I go to my starting point and I go over until I hit it where it goes up. So this here shifted right 90 degrees. So it's going to go in this bracket is a -90. Does that make sense to everyone, how I did the horizontal shift there? I just went here and I went over until it started to go up. That would be one proper formula for this. Now, if you happen to write this formula, y equals -7 sine x plus 90 minus 3, that would also be right. Because all I've done here is I've shifted it, in this case, I looked at it and said, what if it shifted backwards and then I went down instead? Do you guys want to do another one of these? Let's go with okay. So first thing, let's do, what's the axis of symmetry? Because it lets you see everything. So we're going to take max plus min divided by 2. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to work on that. Gabe's here. He's here. James Kenny is here. Kovat's is here. Okay. Who thinks they have the axis of symmetry here? Can someone give me my axis of symmetry? 4? Good. I agree with you. Let's do the math here first. So we're at 7 here. 6, 7. 7 plus 1 divided by 2 equals 8 divided by 2, which equals 4. Perfect. So if we put in a line right across 4, we're good. Okay. I erase this up here. So this gives us where to look at, where to look from now. Now, who can tell me, do we have a vertical shift? Oh, sorry. What's the amplitude of this? So once you have your vertical shift, you can find your amplitude. So you're looking for how much it goes up from the axis, how much it goes down from the axis. Good. Our amplitude's 3. Perfect. Do we have a vertical shift on this one? Did the axis symmetry go up or down? Good. Vertical shift is equal to our axis. Good. Now, is there a horizontal shift on this one? No. If I start here, I run into that spot right there. What did change here? There's no horizontal shift. But what's different? Why does this one go down first? What changes there that makes it go down first? Good. It's a negative A. Now, if we were to write our formula out here, I'm going to write it in plain or parent formula. Sine x minus c plus d. We'd replace our A with just a minus sign. Sine. We had no horizontal shift. Oh, I forgot something. We need our amplitude. No horizontal shift, so just put x there. We're going to go plus 4. Now, writing the formula is more than what we need to do right now. It's just recognizing these things. So if we take a look at our homework, week 4, Thursday practice, all you have to do right here is identify the transformations. Okay, so in this one here, if I was doing this homework, I would look and say, the only thing I have here is a horizontal shift, and it's a positive, so actually it means going left 45. Okay? Does everyone understand this part of the homework? Just identifying what transformations are happening. Okay? I'll go over with you, Dominic. It's exactly like the questions we did right here, Dominic, with these little charts. Exactly like this. What's the amplitude? What's the starting direction? What's the horizontal shift? What's the vertical shift? Like I could just take, let's go back. Right? So we're pretty much doing, Abigail doesn't want me to do that. Let me resize this down to normal size. Right, we're pretty much doing this right in there. What's the amplitude? What's the starting direction? Horizontal shift, vertical shift for these ones. And then there's 2 questions with, actually don't do these ones. We're going to do those after. Just do these ones up here. Okay, we're going to practice sketching stuff after. So just these questions right here you have to do. And just doing this. Okay. 12:45 sound good for everyone? For startup? Okay. Yes, I can. Oops, I need to stop recording. Oops. Stop recording.